Hi, I'm Steve Miller and welcome to this latest video of how I use DxO Photolab to edit my images. This one I just sort of go through a full wildlife edit from copying onto me Mac and then keywording and everything, you know, the full workflow, just to show you how I do it. I'm not saying it's the right way to do it, it's just how I do it. I mean, you know, you have to work out your own workflow, but you might pick up a few tips. You might think, oh, that's a good idea, or no, that's rubbish. It's just up to you what you take out of this. So, right, I'll say it's going to be for a wildlife shoot. So I'll just show you. I'll just insert. I've got a memory card reader. I'll just insert my memory card, and just a bit of thinking behind why I do it the way I do it. If you have a look, this was a recent shoot. If you look on here, as you can see, there's a lot of images there from that one shoot. I think there's over 3,000 images on that shoot. I'm not going to do that today. It'll just take too long to copy everything over. But what I do after I've done a shoot, I've got an external hard drive, a Samsung fast external hard drive. And what I just create a folder like I've already done this. I've created a folder there, and then I drag and drop. I just copy all the images. Show you how to do that. I just Command A, and then you just drag and drop into the folder that I've created where I want to put the images on the Samsung hard drive. Some people don't bother doing that. They might do the culling from the memory card, which I don't like doing that. I'll just use a 3-star. I just 3-star any images that I think, you know, that might need working on. Well, that's writing metadata to an XMP file, so it's actually writing onto the card, the memory card, which there's always a chance it could corrupt something. So it's just a backup, really. I just don't like working off the memory card, so that's why I put them onto an external hard drive. Just the way I work. It's, you know, some people might think, well, there's no need to do that really, but it is just the way I work. So right, once I've got all the images onto this external hard drive, this is where I'll do my culling, and I use Bridge to do my culling. You could do it in Photolab. I just find Bridge is easier. It's faster to load the images when you first import them. It just creates the previews faster. So what I do, I'll just imagine that these are the images that I've just dragged from my memory card onto the external hard drive, the Samsung hard drive. And this is where I go through and do my initial culling. So these are the ones that I think, right, they need looking at again. I mean, if anything out of focus, there's no point. I just think there's no point in actually copying them onto me actual working hard drive. So I just go through quickly. I use a Wacom tablet, and what I've done, I have shortcuts on my express keys. If you look over this side, I've got shortcuts set up for 3 stars, 0 stars, and you know, and that's how I do my culling. So what I do, I just go through, and sorry, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't double click, and I just use my arrows to scroll through the images. Let's go right. So that one, I'll just have a quick look and think, right, that one I like better, just because the way the ears are. So I give that a 3 stars. So like I say, I've got my express key over here. I just have to press that button on the my Wacom tablet to give it 3 stars. And then I go through, and I'd look and think very similar, but I'd have a quick look. What I have to remember is there's no noise reduction, or it's this, you know, this is like straight from camera reel. It's a JPEG interpretation of the raw file sort of thing. So it's straight from camera. So I'd have a quick look, and you know, I'd do couple that might be the same, just in case the one is better than the other. That I've zoomed in a bit, so yeah, I give that a 3 stars, and I can just go through quickly and see that out of focus. The camera's picked up on the grass in front of the deer, and then it snaps into focus. Same again, I'd look through, think, oh, I like it with the ears pointing forward, so I'd give that one a 3 stars. So I'd quickly go through, give 3 stars and to all the images that I want to work on. The others I'd forget. Then we can go over here and just say we can do a filter for all the 3-star images. So these are the ones I want to copy over. Now before I do that, I would put some more of my I've got a template set up for my metadata with my copyright and things. So I'd just add all that metadata to them files. Now this is where I'd copy these over, and I'd create a new folder actually on this attached. This is another SSD that I've got attached to my Mac Mini. I have a working folder, and I just create a new folder. I'll just call it PL Workflow Demo. So all them images would get copied over to that, to my working folder on my Saatchi. So if you have a look down this side, you can see that these are the things that I've added to my the metadata that I've added to all them photos. This is where I would go, and I'd go into my Saatchi now, where I've just copied all them images over. So I go into and I'd find that folder in Photolab, and this is where I'd start doing like a second cull, but this time in Photolab, where I'd have a closer look at, you know, the sharpness and things. There is the odd things added to the when you bring them into Photolab. If I just look in the customize, I have an import sort of recipe set up, and it just adds little things. It does the distortion and a little bit of smart lighting and stuff. But it's just another quick cull really to ones that I think, right, do I really want to work on these? Which ones do I work on? So what I can do, I can set that one as use as reference image, and then I can pick on the next image, and that is the reference image is on that side, and that is the next image. So I could pick, if I press the tab key, you can get in bigger, and then I can have a look 100% and say which one do I like the best. I probably like the reference one, so when I press X there, I'll set that one as a reject. Go to the next image, that's zoomed in, so you use that one as the reference image now, and I'll have a look against that one. Which one do I like the best? Not a lot in it. I'd probably keep that one, so I'd reject the reference image. Same again, I'm just looking at this bottom thinking, right, these are quite similar, these images. Use that one as a reference image. I like that one better, so, and I just go through. With this many, I probably wouldn't even use the reference image. I'd just quickly go through. You can quickly go through between them. That's a bit of a different. It's turned. The animal's turned. I like that one better, just for the positioning. Really, there's not a lot of difference between them, but I like that one better for the positioning. So I'd get rid of that one. Let's have a look. I've got these three. Just have a look a bit closer in. Just make sure we've got the sharpness there. This is before noise reduction. Looks like they're quite, there's a bit of noise there, but that'll be sorted later. So yeah, I go through, there's not a lot of difference in them, so it's just more the composition, which is I get rid of them three. So I've mapped them to reject. So these are the ones I really want to work on. So this is I go into my photo library and I'd filter rejected images and I just move them to the bin. I don't want to work on them. I've picked the ones I want to work on. I'm going through this fast. I'd be a bit more careful about which I'm picking, which I throw away. But this is just a quick demo. So now I'd reset that filter. So these are the images that I want to work on. So I'll go to the first image, and I've got a preset set up, and all it's doing, it's going away and it's just looking at. If I show you here, I've got an animal AI preset, and what were these? ISO 2000. It's not really that high an ISO, that modern cameras are quite good, so I'd use me animal AI low ISO preset, and what that's going to do is go away and it's going to create a mask for the animal, a mask for the background. It should make it faster for me to work on, so I can apply that to that first image. And hopefully it'll have done a good job. It might struggle with that animal because it's sort of hid behind the grass, but let's see how it does. I'll be going down the animal mask. Yep, it's done a good job. I mean, it's picked up a little bit of the grass there, but I'm not too bothered about that. It's only slight adjustments I'm going to be doing. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go in and I'll show the mask so you can see what I'm doing. And I mean, it'd be quite easy. I can just say, right, let's just get rid of that little bit of the mask on there. And I could do the same for the background. Instead of getting rid, I could add a bit of to that mask. Right, so this is where now I wouldn't actually do the crop now. I'd just sort of work on I'd just knock the highlights down a bit on that background. I think it was quite early morning, this shoot, when I bumped into this road here. Just turn the mask off so you can see what's happening. So I've just knocked the highlights down slightly. I'm just trying to make the animal the centre of attention here, so I'll even make a contrast. That is actually on the AI, on the preset that I've set up for the animal. It's got a bit of micro contrast added. There's not a lot needs doing. I might just give a little bit of clear view plus. It'll just add a little bit of contrast, that, and I'll even just up the vibrance. Just add that a bit more colour. I'll just check on the animal. It were on Deep Prime 3. On the animal, it has forced a little bit of detail and just up the sharpness a little bit on the animal, and it'll have done the opposite on the background. On the background, we've got micro contrast -10, and then the lens sharpness I've knocked down a little bit. So this is just a preset that I've set up. It just helps so I don't have to do that, because I found that's what I was doing on most of my wildlife images. So now once I've done that first image, it's just a matter of copying them settings, which I've got another shortcut set up on my Wacom tablet. So I'll do copy, and all that's doing is going away, and it's the same over here. You can just say image copy correction settings. I've just got a shortcut on my Wacom tablet to make that quicker, and then I can pick the next 3 images, and I can just, same again, I've got a shortcut, I can just paste all of them settings from the first image to this second image, and it should do quite a good job at picking up the animal and the background and applying them settings that I've done on the first image. Let's have a look, see how that's done. Yep. What I've done there, it's because I did that on the first image. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Because I've done the brush, it's taken the brush over onto the second image. If you can just see what I've done there on the animal, you can just see where the mask isn't showing up on the, just in a part of the just there. That's because that brush. So what I'd have to do, I'd just delete that brush from there to delete that brush mask. So what I'd probably be better off doing now for these is going, I'd copy it off that image. And paste the settings off that image because I haven't had that brush. So let's have a look, see how that's picked that up. Background. Don't know why it's not good. It's showing the background, it's not showing the animal mask for some reason. Oh, there. So yeah, it's picked up quite a good job, and it's automatically put them, knocked the highlights down and that. So that, you know, this is how it's making it faster. And now I go back and I just do the crop. So I've got another shortcut set up for things that I do regularly as a crop. So I just crop. Crop that image to how I want it. And I do all the crops separately because obviously you don't, the crops are going to be a bit specific to that one image. So there we have the, you know, the worked on images. Now what I do is once I get to this stage, this is my working folder that they're in, but what I do then, I'd actually copy them to, I've got another hard drive where all my finished images are on. So if you look this side here, they're my raw images, and I've got a folder structure set up for all my raw images. So I've got nature, wildlife, mammals. So obviously that was a raw deer. So what I'd do, I'd copy them images into me, into this folder, my mammals 2025 folder. Before I'd do that, I would actually rename them all. So quite easily to rename now. So I'd just do it by the animal. So raw deer. It'll put the year in for me and the sequence starting at 0, and you can do as many, you can do 3 or 4 digits, whatever you want. If you think you're going to take quite a lot of images of raw deer, that I usually do it 3 digits. So I've got 999 images to go at for renaming for raw deer. So I'd rename the images, which is done, and then I just drag and drop these from my working folder into my finished folder. What I'd do as well, actually before I'd do that, or after I'd done it, I'd go in and I'd keyword these images. There's no keyword at the moment, so what I'd do, I'd go back into Bridge. If I go back into Bridge and find that folder, it's showing the XMP files and the doc files there. I just want the raw files. And what I'd do, I'd keyword these. You can keyword in Photolab, but I'll show you why I use this. You can keywords. You can set up a list in Bridge, and you can export and import the keywords lists. So I've got a keyword list set up here, like for mammals. For this, it'd be deer, raw deer. That's a raw doe. That's a scientific, the Latin name for it, and then I've got doe under there as well. So what I'd do, I'd keyword that, and so it's put all these keywords in for them images. A keyword now with raw deer and the Latin name. Why I do that, if you go into here, you'll see that they've been renamed. Like I was saying, you can actually do it in Photolab, but you can't export the keyword lists. You have to sort of build it in Photolab 9, and there's no way of exporting it. So I do it in Bridge, just safety thing really, because I don't want to. As you can see, that keyword list that I've created, you know, if I go into here, birds, dipper, and you know, it's got the scientific name, and even if I go down to what have we got, a lot of finches. We've got all different finches. So there's quite a lot of work gone into putting the Latin names and things in these, you know. So I don't want to lose that list. So in Bridge, you can actually export that list to a text file and then import it back in the future if something goes wrong. So just that, thought I'd just say that's why I use Bridge. So the keywords, it's been keyworded, they do actually show up, and it has been added. That list is shown in Photolab. So I could use, in the future, I could use that list if I wanted to know that mammals are deer, fallow deer, you know. So it's up to you how you decide to do it. But I use Bridge for doing my keywording. If you can export and import keywords lists in the future, and DxO, if they improve the keywording, I might, you know, I better do away with the keywording in Bridge. I'd just do it in Photolab. But at the moment, Bridge is definitely better for keywording. So what would I do next? One of the reasons, a good reason for your keywords, a lot of people, someone had said, why keyword? Well, in Photolab, it's not a photo management tool really. So a good way, if you keyword, if I go in here and put raw, right, so raw deer, I've got 210 photos of raw deer keyworded on my hard drives. What you have to do, you have to make sure that the folders have been indexed. You can force, as soon as you open one of these folders in Photolab, it'll index the folder. But you can actually force it to index the folder if you want. You can just right click, like there, I could right click and say index a folder. And what that's doing, it's indexing it in the background so that when you do a search, it'll find everything. So it'll say, oh right, all these photos have got raw deer as a keyword. So I can click on that, and these only raw deer photos. So it's a quick way of finding your images. I just find keywording very handy. You can use projects and things, but you have to start backing up your projects, and you could lose them. But once your photo is keyworded, it's so easy to find your images. I mean, let's have a look. What else could I look for? Kingfisher. I've got more than that many of kingfisher, but just what's been indexed. So there's my kingfisher folder. So as you can see, it's very fast to find. You know, once you've indexed them folders, you can find your images quite easily. If you wanted as well, as your recent searches, them images now. If I wanted, I could create a project using them images. You know, I could just copy all them images. They'd be over multiple years probably, and I could just copy and create a project from all my raw deer images and just call it a raw deer like project. So yeah, there's just reason why I use keywording really. Some people might think it's a bit long-winded and they don't like it, but it's just the way I work. It's I just think it's a good idea to keyword photos. Right, so where were we? Oh, keyword, yeah. So really, that's it. Once I've dragged them over into my hard drive, my non-working hard drive. These are the ones. These are the finished images on this. This is the drive I use for my finished images. So once the working photos have been copied over there, that's it. I mean, if I want to do prints or something, I will go in and do a bit more work on them. But that's the first edit sort of thing, just a quick edit, the first edit. They're the photos that I want to keep, and that's the way I do it. You might watch this and think, yeah, I don't like the way it works, but I mean, let's say we all make our own workflows. It's how your own mind works, really. It's just a bit of a safety thing for me, where I like to have multiple copies of me photos and that. I mean, eventually, my Samsung drive, I just do clear it out once it starts getting a bit full. I'll clear it out, and because I know that I've got the photos in 2 other places anyway. I've got them in a working folder, and then the finished images I've got backed up, you know, on this crucial hard drive that I've got. I also have a cloud on my Amazon photos. I have that set up to automatically backup, and it's just backing up this folder, the folder on my crucial drive. They're sort of the most important photos, so I have them backed up to a cloud. Right, so hopefully you might get you thinking of how you do your own workflow, and maybe you might start thinking, oh well, keywording is a good idea. You might think, no, I'll just stick with the way I do it, but I just thought I'd go through, show you how and why I do it this way. Right, thanks a lot for watching. Bye.